Hey, Coach Charles Brom here with Fit Health in Herndon, Virginia. We're doing a series of a quick start guide on getting rid of your quarantine 15. And so this session is going to be all about mastering one meal. What have I got in my hands here? I've got a paper plate. Let's talk about what to do with this paper plate. This is an 8.5-inch wide paper plate. When I was an obese guy, I decided that I needed to control my eating, and I tried to figure out what was best to do about that. Did a lot of research, and the tool that I found that would be the easiest was not to track my calories and count all my calories and track every little microscopic thing that I was eating or drinking, but it was to be able to figure it out on a macro level, on a meal by meal level. Was there a formula I could put together? And I'm an engineer by training, so I love formulas. What was a formula I could put together to master eating? And so if we're going to talk about mastering one meal, because again, you're trying to lose that 10, 15, 20 pounds you put on during quarantine, what's a quick start that you can do, something around eating that's going to make your life much easier? This is the 80% solution. Grab an 8.5-inch plate. This plate is significantly smaller than a traditional dinner plate. Yet, as you can see, compared to my body, this is a good sized plate. You can put a lot of food on here, and you can be quite satisfied. So here's a couple of quick rules around trying to lose that weight. One, get rid of all the super processed foods, okay? So if you think about the types of foods that our ancestors would have eaten, they would eat something that would crawl, run, fly, swim. And then they would eat something that would grow out of the ground or grow beneath the ground, right? Keep it really simple. So you've got your proteins and you got your vegetation. And vegetation would include things like broccoli, an apple, and even a potato growing underneath the ground, or a carrot, right? So that's all kinds of different vegetation. Now, what do we do with that food on our plate? So let's see if we can pull this in here, and you can see I have divided the plate into 3 sections. Section 1 would be proteins, right? So this is your chicken, beef, fish, that type of thing. And then the other 2 sections are vegetation. So vegetables, or vegetables/fruit. All right, now I'm going to give you a couple of really easy guidelines to fill out your plate. Because obviously you could take this plate and you could fill it this high, and just because it's this wide, it's not going to help you anymore if you fill up your plate this high, right? Or if you go back and you fill this plate 10 times, like in an all-you-can-eat restaurant. So the first thing, we'll go over to the protein section here. I want you to look at your hand, right? Look at your hand. Look at this, let me put this plate down for a second. This distance from the top here to the bottom there, to the side, and to the other side, and then look at the thickness, okay, that thickness of your hand. That's a great tool to measure how much protein. So eat that much chicken, that much beef, that much fish, okay? So if you're a 5-foot-tall woman, your hand's going to be smaller than mine. If you're in that 5'7" to 5'9" kind of range, you're probably going to have a hand about my size. Men's medium is what the glove I wear. And if you're 6'5", your hand's probably coming all the way up to here, right? That palm is much larger than mine. So again, if you're 5 foot, 5'2", you're going to eat a smaller amount of protein than I do, and I'm going to eat a smaller amount of protein than some guy that's like 6'5" or more, okay? So, really easy guide. Take that palm, and you'll notice when you put on the plate, you're filling up about 1/3 of the plate, right? Okay, now, what about your vegetables or fruits? Make a fist, right? Look at that fist. So it's about this wide, about that wide in that dimension, that tall, and about that thick. Okay, now I can make another fist, right? So if I've got my plate, I can fill up a fist here, I can put a fist here, and I can put another fist over here pretty easily, right? So I'm going to fill up the rest of the plate with vegetables. or vegetables and fruits. Okay, so what kinds of vegetables? Yeah, you can make it really easy. Broccoli and onions. You can have asparagus if you love grilled asparagus. And then fruits, it could be an orange, it could be an apple, it could be a pear, that type of thing. You don't have to have fruit in every meal, but if you're really craving some sweets, some carbohydrates and such, then you definitely want to have a fruit in that meal. Now, the idea behind this video is we're going to master one meal. So you need to choose which meal you think would be easiest for you to make the changes to eating, basically what I'm going to call real food, right? Stuff that grows out of the ground or stuff that grows on a farm and not out of a box. Is it breakfast? Is it lunch? Is it dinner? All right. Now, let's just say that you're going to master lunch. So, on Sunday, you could cook up 3 steaks. Cut those steaks down into this size. All right. And then you could have steak for lunch. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday and Friday. Okay, just make it super, super simple. I know it sounds a little boring, but you may remember back when we were in middle school and high school, myself and a lot of people that I knew, we just basically ate peanut butter and jelly every day for lunch. So it sounds really boring, but we did it and didn't even really notice it very much. There's tons of people that I've met that have a burger and fries every single day, or at least 4 or 5 days a week at lunchtime. Or they go to their favorite restaurant right around the corner from their office and get the same soup or the same chicken salad basically every day. So we think we can't eat the same kinds of things every day, but we really can for the most part. Now, you can mix this up if you need to, but let's just try and keep it super simple. I'm just going to pick steak as an example because it's really easy to grill on a Sunday, and then you can cut it up into the size that you need, right? And then you can put those into separate containers. Now, you've got your protein handled. What about your vegetables? I like broccoli and onions quite a bit. You may prefer asparagus, or you may prefer salad greens, that type of thing. So I'm just going to go with broccoli and onions. So a serving of broccoli is about 3 ounces, or broccoli and onions about 3 ounces. So if I want to have 6 ounces or so, maybe 8 ounces of vegetation per meal. So if I'm trying to cook for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would need 1.5 pounds of my broccoli and onions. And I'm going to weigh that beforehand. So if you go to a place like Costco, they have a 3-pound bag of broccoli. That means I'm going to cook approximately half of that bag, and I'll add an onion, maybe about the size of an onion to that, maybe 2 onions if they're smaller. All right. Now, a really easy way to make that is to put them all onto like a big pizza tray, pizza pan, and drizzle them with olive oil. And put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper on there, throw it in at 350, 375 for 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how roasted you want your vegetables to do. It's really simple, really quick. Big bag from a place like Costco or Giant. Dump it on there. They're pre-washed, so I always buy the bags that are pre-washed. Dump it on there, drizzle a little olive oil on, a little salt, a little pepper. I mean, we're literally talking about a couple of minutes of prep here. Toss it in the oven, come back and take a look at it 10, 12 minutes in. If it looks pretty good, pull it out and then put it in a container. So if I want 3 days worth, I can put a plastic container 1, plastic container 2, plastic container 3. Now, again, this is the meal, right? 1 8.5-inch plate. This may be about the size of your salad plate, but definitely not your dinner plates. Those are significantly larger. You can use the paper plates like I did because I just wanted to make it as simple as possible and as routine as possible. I grabbed a new plate, stuck it down, filled the plate with food. So go grab your container that has your daily steak in it, throw it on. Grab your container that has your broccoli and onions in it, dump it on. Then you'll notice your whole plate is pretty much full at that point. Put it in the microwave, Depending on your microwave, we're talking a minute to a minute and a half to heat it up. And so each day, you're literally spending 1 to 1.5 minutes getting your food ready. And on Sunday, you spent 20 minutes at the grill, and you spent a couple of minutes prepping your broccoli and onions in the oven, and then a couple of minutes of just putting them into their various trays. And have a section in your refrigerator. It's like, that's lunch, right? All my lunch is right there. All the proteins are stacked up. All of your vegetables are stacked together. And just let me know how you feel 5-6 days in mastering your lunch. Now, I know many people are thinking to themselves, well, I'm not going to lose all 15 pounds if I only focus on lunch. This series is all about quick start, okay? We want to get you started right now. If you have too much to think about, if you have to change too many habits in your life, because remember what we were talking about earlier in the series, you're going to make a decision, and your decisions drive your behaviors, and your behaviors eventually become habits. We're trying to undo the bad habits, the unhealthy habits that you have in place now, and we're trying to replace them with good, healthy habits that are going to support your weight loss and fitness journey. So, if I can get you to master lunch over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be really easy to add breakfast to that or add dinner to that. But if you're trying to master breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at the same time, and maybe you don't have great support at home, like other people in the household are constantly eating chips and dips and all kinds of candy and this type of thing, trust me on this. Let's just start with one meal, master that, and then add the next piece in place. All right, let me know if you have any questions or comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. We'll see you in the next video.